All right, it is the Ed Dean Radio Show as we broadcast live every day out of the flagship station AM 1300 WMEL.com. Now, the regular show tonight will be regular from 5 to 7. We got a boatload of guests, and then tonight, as we do every year, or technically in some cases every 2 years, election coverage special going on from 7 to 9. Boatloads of guests, boatloads of analysis, unbiased analysis. Tonight, all these races, not only here in Brevard County, but also throughout the state. You've got a governor's race that some people don't even think is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting to see the number of results on the Democratic side from Charlie Crist and Ann Rich. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So we go from 5 to 7. We'll take a break for the top of the news at 7 o'clock. And, of course, we take the top of the break for every hour. And then we'll come back with our panel debates and everything else, as we're also our partners via their website, also online. You can watch the live webcast at spacecoastdaily.com, spacecoastdaily.com. Political editor Matt O'Hearn is in the studios with us. So the cameras are on live. It's a nice cut screen. So if you want to enjoy it, go to there. If you want to catch us online, by the way, the Ed Dean Radio Show, you can also go to 1300WMEL.com, 1300WMEL.com. But tonight, we got a boatload of guests. See who's coming on. We got Michael Hartman at Wayne Justice. We've got Jim Barfield. And, of course, my girl Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is going to join us here at the bottom of the half hour. Matt O'Hearn, political editor from Space Coast Daily. I tell you what, one of my biggest issues I want to talk about tonight when we get time, and if we don't do it between the 5 to 7, we'll do it on the analysis of election coverage here on 1300WMEL.com, is the low voter turnout, and what is the reasoning why of the low voter turnout?
Yeah, we'll see what the final numbers are. I am on votebrevard.com right now, and we'll see how it ends up. I have a feeling it could end up better than 2010 midterm, though.
No way. It's not going to happen.
Hey, it might.
Now, you want to put some money on it? What was the voter turnout in 2010?
I have to pull that up.
All right. The bottom line, well, you had a governor's race. That's the reason why I don't think the number's going to be that high. If you go to votebrevard.com, votebrevard.com, Lori Scott basically has it broken down out of all the ballots cast. Now, remember, we mailed out 80,000 ballots for absentees. Remember, we were told by the supervisor of elections, and not only her, but many throughout the state, that the majority of votes, 53%, would vote by absentee. I told everybody it's not going to happen. As of right now, 35,000 have voted by absentee. Now, Vince Young, our producer.
Yes, sir.
Do the math. 80,000 divided by 35,000.
That's just under 50%, Ed.
No, it's not 50%. What's half of 80?
40.
That's right.
That's why I said just under.
No, it's way under. If you do, I mean, it's probably about 30. It's probably about 30. What is it? What do we have? About 40% maybe?
I think 40. Let me do the math.
Yeah, do the math. 31,000 have voted on Election Day as of today so far. That's not including those of you that are listening to us right now in your car or wherever you're at. The polls closed at 7. I don't see any extension going on. Only about 7,000 have done the early votes. So that's pretty. I don't know why you guys are calling me right now. I'm on the air. So anyways, that is basically what's going on here. And what is happening now? Remember, the legalization of marijuana is not on this ballot. The amendment number 1 with the doc stamp is not on this ballot. This is all coming up in the November ballot up there. But pretty much, I must tell you, when you look at the overall numbers, it's low, Matt. It's really low.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the 2010 figures here. I'll have those in a few minutes to compare.
So anyways, Vince Young, did you vote today yet?
Absolutely.
All right.
Voted this morning.
Okay. Now I voted around 9 o'clock. Nobody was at the polls. What did you see?
I was the first person to vote an NPA ballot in my precinct.
Wow.
There were
that must have been something to brag about.
I was the 10th person overall to vote in my precinct, so it was very quiet. But that was at about 7:20
Could you vote for the Republican or Democrat?
No.
See, Vince, man, I'm telling you, your vote counts, brother.
Yeah, well, my vote definitely counted in the school board and judicial races.
Yeah, but what about the other most important? School board, listen, do you know, listen, Vince, who's a dear friend of mine, the producer of our afternoon show, this is what I keep telling Vince, that, listen, you don't have to be fans of the reps or Dems, but, you got to vote for one of those guys. Judges don't make tax policy. That's why I'm saying it counts. That's all I'm going to ask.
Just I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this right now because we got so much going on, but the general attitude I've gotten from the Republicans is that they don't want me. They want a neutered and obedient
That's what I'm saying.
version
Then
of me.
why not stick it to them then? That's all I'm getting at.
I don't go where I'm not wanted, basically.
All right. So, anyways, a lot of election coverage. The judicial races are pretty kind of, except for a few races. We'll get into those in just a little bit. Some of the most interesting races tonight, which are technically not only going to be looked at by the county, but also state officials. The big State Senate District 16 race. Monique Miller, the challenger, has really come on strong over the last several months for a no-name that's basically come out since that of the days of April. How much would she do against Thad? Now, I think Thad Altman's going to end up winning that race when you look at the analysis, Matt O'Hearn. The question is the people are looking at how much is Thad Altman going to win by that race, and that's what I'm looking at. Also, you've got a big race in the State House District 53 where John Tobias may get knocked off by newcomer Tim Street.
Yeah, those are going to be two of the most compelling, that Senate race and then the House race. You mentioned the difference in the Altman versus Miller race.
Right.
Reminds me of your early reference to the Charlie Crist versus Nan Rich primary,
Right.
where I think the Republicans will be looking at that to see how close Rich gets to Scott. We know Rich isn't going to win that one, but if Crist doesn't pull out a big win in that one, that could be a bad sign for him.
What about the does anybody really care about Tom Goodson's race?
You know, I it's hard to get a feeling. I was just up there in Titusville checking out the polls, and the only supporters I saw at 3 different polls I went to were for Misty Belford for school board. So I don't know what's going on up
School
there.
board, which has been really. By the way, have you guys? Has Lori Scott? Hold on a second. I'm looking at the website here. The Dems, believe it or not, there's been a few Democrats come out and vote, and I think predominantly it's because of the school board races. Now, she hasn't. I don't think she hasn't fully broken out of which Dem. I mean, you'll find that probably later tonight or tomorrow of Dems versus Republicans. I've said that the Dems really don't have a reason to come out and vote, but I understand that they've shown up at some of these school board elections out there. As you know, coming up in November, there is a big push for tax increase, and that's what everybody's going to be talking about. That's what everybody's going to be pushing for. I know we've been talking about it on this radio show. We will continue to talk about it in November. There's a chance, some of the rumor mill out there, that this thing may have a good chance of passing. I don't know. This thing failed by about, 53-48, 53-47 a few years ago. So anyways, 36 voter turnout, 1,000, that's just so low, man. That's horrible.
No, I'm saying 2010. That's what it was, 36,000.
36,000 in 2010?
Yeah. What are we at right now?
For both sides. No, I think those numbers are low. Those numbers are way low in 2010.
I'm looking at it here on. Oh, you know what? Sorry, they had a bad link here. That was 20. Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
Hey, it's not Matt O'Hearn. It's the bad link. So there we go on that one here. The email address, if you want to email us tonight, it's eddeanradio@gmail.com. eddeanradio@gmail.com. Also, you can watch us live via webcast. Our partners over at spacecoastdaily.com. spacecoastdaily.com. Yeah, the voter turnout has been horrendous. Can I use that word, Vince? Is that a proper word to use?
Yeah, you can say that. That's
It's
fine.
been. Now I'm trying to find another word. I don't want to sound like William F. Buckley here. It's been very low, and I mean, when you don't, I don't know. If the races come out and the numbers show to go up, then I'll be very surprised. It'll be very interesting to see what drags those numbers up, but I just don't see it happen right now. Hey, was Michael Hartman going to call? I mean, he's running way behind. That means I got to mess it up for Wayne Justice.
Didn't you get a call just a few minutes ago? Was that?
No, we don't have anybody online, do we, Vince? See? In fact, I'm looking at my phones here. We got nothing there ready to go. So I mean,
Well, I did pull up the right numbers. I'm looking at primary election 2010, August 24, 2010.
Right.
Total ballots cast were 97,606.
Yeah,
for 27% turnout.
Yeah, it's way under. It is way.
What are we at now? Let's see.
2014, according to Brevard.com, basically what you're looking at, 35,000 by mail. As of right now, 31,000. So you're looking at just a little bit over 60, maybe 77,000. So you're looking about
we're going to be about 20 grand under what we were.
20,000 as of right now, yeah. So you're going to be about 20,000 votes under.
That should cause concern for the GOP going into November because It's not going to be the same wave we saw in 2010.
But I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to break it down and look at, okay, how did District 2 in the county and District 4, where predominantly you had partisan races, you had the nonpartisan races, which will bring out some partisanship. You've had some judicial races that have turned into partisan races out there. So I mean, yeah, maybe so. I mean, the numbers, you really cannot gauge on how well the Democrats will do.
Right. So you're not...
Because the bottom line is there's not really much of a race for Democrats.
So you're not sure if it's an accurate weather vane as far as what's coming.
It's a vane. I just don't know if it's a weather vane.
Yeah.
All right, candidate Michael Hartman here on line 1, running for the County Commission District 2. How was the voting turnout today, Michael Hartman?
Actually, it's been pretty light, it seems like, at most of the polling places. I've gone to all the places in Rockledge and Merritt Island and some of them in Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, and from what I'm hearing, it seems to be a little light right now.
It's way light. Do you believe in your election, County Commission District 2, on the Republican side, low voter turnout helps or hurts you?
I think it helps because I believe that the people that want to vote for me are going to be coming out no matter what. So.
All right. So what do you think? How are you feeling about the election?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't want to jinx myself, and we'll wait until Lori Scott gives the final results. But I'm just cautiously optimistic, and if God's willing, then I'll be our next county commissioner for District 2.
There we go. All right. Anything you want to ask him, Matt?
Yeah, Michael, I saw you around Kiwanis Island during early voting. Were you able to make it around to several different polling locations today?
Yes. I have been to all the polling locations in Rockledge, all the polling locations on Merritt Island. I have been to one in Cocoa Beach, and I'm going to be going back there probably in about 15 minutes. I'm going to be heading back over there for the final hour and a half.
Which precinct, which area would you say you saw the strongest flow of foot traffic?
Good question.
Probably, from what I've seen so far, North Merritt Island, although as of a little while ago, the turnout seemed to be less than half of what we were expecting there at North Merritt Island.
Man, everybody will start listening to me. I kept telling everybody those numbers just aren't coming out. And I just, again, I had the Indian River County Supervisor of Elections on my morning show. And I like her. She's a good friend, but I don't know where these people are coming up with these numbers. And I just think it's not only a cost to the individual running for office, and I'm not trying to make you guys like you're exclusive, Michael, but the bottom line is we are wasting money by assuming people are going to vote and they're not going to vote. They have two easy routes: early voting, showing up on election day, and of course what's going on the absentee. And it just sends out, we're predicting an election. It's kind of like the weather. The weather guy's not always right. He's usually about 2 to 3 days off. And when you're planning your vacation, that's one thing. But when you're planning an election cycle, it's a totally different topic here. And I'm just kind of disappointed in some of the supervisors of elections throughout the state.
Well, I mean, when I say that it's off, I don't know. We were planning on approximately 1,300 voters at North Merritt Island. Now, I don't know how many of them did early voting or how many of them did absentee. I'm saying today the count was at 609 as of about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right. Michael Hartman, thank you for coming on, brother. Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much. Look forward to talking to you later tonight.
Yes, sir. Jim Barfield's also going to be joining us. Wayne T. Justice, Mr. Excitement, he's also going to join us here. My girl Pam Bondi at the bottom of the half hour. All this coming your way. The Ed Dean Radio Show regularly from 5 to 7 right here on 1300 WMEL. 5 to 7, yep, but 7 to 9, election coverage. It'll get a lot better, I promise you, as it always does every year. This is the Talk to Me station, AM 1300 WMEL.
AM 1300 WMEL.
Your home for the best election coverage in Brevard County is the Talk to Me station, AM 1300 WMEL. Tune in on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. as Ed Dean, John Harper, and Vince Young bring you up-to-the-minute results in the primary election races, plus expert political analysis from our panel of guests. On Tuesday, cast your vote, and then tune into our exclusive election coverage. Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1300 WMEL.
Conservative Republican Thad Altman is an effective champion for the Space and Treasure Coasts. Thad Altman passed legislation making Florida the most veteran and military-friendly state in America. The NRA's Marion Hammer has called out those making false attacks and praised Thad's outstanding record of defending our right to keep and bear arms, endorsing Thad and giving him their highest rating, an A+. Thad Altman cut wasteful spending to balance the state's budget and secured $170 million towards restoring the Indian River Lagoon to its natural beauty. And Thad Altman has called for investigations that will hold All Aboard Florida accountable for refusing to stop in our region. Helping veterans, protecting our Second Amendment rights, committed to restoring our community. On August 26th, vote for Thad Altman.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Thad Altman, Republican for State Senate, District 16.
There is awesome private sector job growth happening here in Brevard at Port Canaveral. Thank you, Port Commissioner Frank Sullivan, for leading the way with decades of business experience. Frank Sullivan gave his word 4 years ago that he would oppose tax levies, and he kept that promise. Job growth and a promise kept to fight tax levies. Frank Sullivan has earned our vote of confidence. For more, go to electfranksullivan.com.
Political ad paid for and approved. Frank Sullivan, Republican, Port Authority, District 3.
WMEL.
Three minutes after the top of the hour, it is the Ed Dean Radio Show. Don't forget, coming up between 7 and 9 p.m. tonight, as we do every year or every 2 years, the legendary, well, it is legendary because we're broadcasting live at the legendary 1300 WMEL. We'll be having our election special coverage tonight, totally unbiased, as you know. We look forward to doing that here on the Ed Dean Radio Show. It does remain biased from 5 to 7 p.m. tonight. My girl, Attorney General Pam Bondi, is going to join me at the bottom of the half hour. Jim Barfield, another candidate run for District 2. Kevin Derby from the Sunshine State News on what's going on. So we'll get all this in just a little bit. By the way, you get our partners online at SpaceCoastDaily.com. SpaceCoastDaily.com. You can watch us live on the air. We got the cams and the TV cameras ready to go. You got Matt O'Hearn, political editor, and yourself here, Ed Dean. Here on our phone lines, a man who has not had been much on the radio to my disappointment, Wayne Justice, who's running for the Port Authority against Frank Sullivan. So, Wayne, where have you been, man?
Hey, Ed, how you doing? Hey, we've been hitting all the different precincts, a couple in Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral, all over. I haven't had a chance to say hi to a whole lot of Brevard voters. It's been a wonderful day.
Where is now, when you look at the Port Authority, it's almost like a flipping congressional district. It's so big out there. Where has been the most promising, if you've been driving around today, where has been the most promising return of voters, or the number of voters that you've seen in what area in the county?
North Merritt Island,
yep.
a steady stream, but I've got some good friends supporting me up in Titusville, and again, a whole lot of people up there coming out and supporting as well. So it's a pretty good turnout on a beautiful day, and we're keeping at it.
Wayne Justice, one of the claim to fames is that, and I interviewed Buzz Patterson years ago, was the guy, you ready for this? The guy that carried the nuclear football. Explain it to the audience. I mean, to me, I find that's just, I'm like a kid, man. I find it fascinating. Explain to the audience what the nuclear football was and what did you do?
Hey, thanks. One of my jobs in my 37 years in the Coast Guard was to work in the White House and to be a military aide to President H.W. Bush, where I carried his the emergency satchel, which had the codes to conduct a nuclear launch. You had to stay within 2 minutes of the president at all times, and it was a great honor to serve a gentleman like that.
How long did you do it for?
I did that for 2.5 years with President Bush, and then I had the opportunity to transition to President Clinton and to see a little different type of politics in the White House.
Was it, when you look at the politics, was there, I mean, the nuclear football, people would go, oh, whatever. I mean, that's not going to happen. Without, divulging certain things, was there ever any semi-close calls out there that, hey, we need to visit the president here, and guess what? Wayne Justice was the one that got the call up.
Not from a nuclear perspective, but
different situations arise with the president, and whether it's the military aid or the doctor or the Secret Service or whoever has to happen. I can tell you that one of the more interesting times was in Tokyo when President Bush had his fainting spell, and we didn't know what happened to him. And I can tell you, people start jumping when the president passes out at a state dinner.
Now, I've had Buzz Patterson. I read his book. It was A Derelict of Duty. And there were times where, he even said in his book there were times he's going to have to call Bill Clinton. And believe it or not, some of Clinton's officials sat back and said, hey, the president's on the almost finishing up on the 18th hole. He'll get back with you.
I would not say something like, I can tell you right now, with President H.W. Bush, if there was a call that had needed to come in or he needed to take, that call was made. Certainly one of the person who had the most respect for the office, respect for for the dignity of the presidency, and just a genuinely great man.
All right, Wayne Justice. By the way, what's been one of the things that you've enjoyed or has seen an obstacle in this race? I mean, I've noticed compared to other races, it's not gotten really dirty in the Port Authority. Was it pretty much clean, or has there been pretty much like people holding you back, people not giving you the time of the day? How would you explain the campaign this year?
It's interesting. Running against an incumbent, the incumbent's got a record. He's had some votes that people might not be too happy with. I've tried to say, hey, I'm a retired Coast Guard admiral. I'm coming in here fresh. I've got some maritime expertise. I'm ready to really jump in and handle the magnitude of the work up at that port. So I'm trying to stay on a positive looking forward side, and I know that I would do a great job for our citizens.
All right, Wayne Justice here on the Ed Dean Radio Show. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much, Ed. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Wayne Justice. I mean, he sounded exciting. I mean, and I like Wayne. I mean, what a story of the nuclear football. But, I mean, that's the most exciting I've ever seen that guy got.
Yeah.
Most people usually get pretty excited coming on my radio show. That was pretty good.
Well, it is Election Day. I saw him this morning as folks were filing into the Kiwanis Island precinct.
I was up all night, by the way. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I was almost sleeping on my morning show. And but a lot of people get up early in the morning to put out signs. I stay up all night because I get them done. I want to see the shenanigery. By the way, I must have run into hurricane force winds on the beach last night. It got rain, and it was wind about 1 o'clock. The cops were taking a look at me, checking me out, but that's okay. I was driving around in my SUV, so it wasn't really too much, If I was driving around in your car, I would have been profiled here.
That's right.
But anyways, coming up here in just a few moments, the Attorney General of the state of Florida, a dear friend of mine and a dear friend of this popular radio show, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is going to talk to us about some issues. Jim Barfield, another candidate running County Commission District 2 on the Republican side, who I have said – and we'll talk. I mean, everybody claims that their campaign's gotten their vote out. I think this is one guy who had a chance and lost it. All right? So we'll talk about that with him. Kevin Derby, senior political writer from the Sunshine State News, is going to tell us the overall turnout for the state and what does this mean for Charlie Crist and Ann Rich, and plus Election Central all the way to 9 p.m. tonight right here on the Ed Dean Radio Show.
WMEL 1300 Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, Palm Bay. Nominated Business of the Year by the Cocoa Beach Regional Chamber of Commerce.
NBC News Radio, I'm Pete Williams. An open-ended ceasefire is in effect between Israel and the Palestinians. But the State Department's Jen Psaki says we're a long way from lasting peace.
We view this as an opportunity, not a certainty. Today's agreement comes after many hours and days of negotiations and discussions.
President Obama told the American Legion Convention today that the administration will seek justice for the killing of American journalist James Foley by ISIS terrorists.
America does not forget. Our reach is long. We are patient. Justice will be done. We have proved time and time again we will do what's necessary to capture those who harm Americans.
The Pentagon says it's moving ahead with surveillance flights over Syria with manned and unmanned aircraft to identify possible ISIS targets. Stocks rose today on word of rising consumer confidence. Dow up 29, NASDAQ up 13, S&P up 2, above 2,000 for the first time. This is NBC.
AM 1300 WMEL.
WMEL weather for the Space and Treasure Coast tonight. 20% chance of showers, low 78, northeast wind gusting to 20 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 20% chance of showers, high 88. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, low 77. It'll be mostly sunny on Thursday with a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, the high 89. Be listening for Dennis Miller 1 to 4 a.m. weekdays on AM 1300 WMEL and also online worldwide at 1300WMEL.com. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Meisner with WMEL Sports. The Baltimore Orioles hit back-to-back homers in the third inning, then hit back-to-back homers in the fifth inning last night, rolling to a 9-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay is now 64-67 and 7.5 games out of the second wild card spot. The Rays play at the Orioles again tonight at 7 on WMEL. The Brevard County Manatees had Monday off today. They opened a 4-game set with Lakeland. First, they'll complete a game that was suspended on July 10th in Lakeland, then play their regularly scheduled game at Space Coast Stadium beginning at 6:35. The Manatees enter play today at 32-20, 4.5 games behind Daytona in the FSL North. Eastern Florida volleyball is busy this week. They take on Daytona State tonight, then play at Florida State and Jacksonville this weekend against Santa Fe State and Lake Sumter State on Friday, Pensacola State on Saturday, and Florida State Jacksonville on Sunday. The Titans are 2-0 to start the season. That's a look at sports. I'm John Meisner on the Talk to Me station, award-winning AM 1300 WMEL.
Did you know that certain plants can purify the air in your home? Stop by Rockledge Gardens for a pothos, a dracaena, or one of dozens of beautiful plant varieties. And breathe easy. Located on US 1 in Rockledge, Rockledge Gardens. Knowledgeable, beautiful, local.
I'm Mitch Krause, your candidate for Circuit Court Judge. When it comes to electing a Circuit Court Judge, you need to know who has the most experience and also the right experience. On the federal level, I clerked for a Ronald Reagan appointed federal judge. On the local level, I was a former assistant state attorney for the 18th Judicial Circuit. When it comes to your family, you don't want someone who needs on-the-job training. As your next Circuit Court Judge, I'll protect your family as if it were mine.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Mitch Krause, nonpartisan for Circuit Judge, 18th Judicial Circuit Group, 19.
Your home for Tampa Bay Rays baseball is AM 1300 WMEL.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, the Rays win.
The Rays continue their AL East road trip as they take on Chris Davis and the first-place Baltimore Orioles. Andy Freed and Dave Wills will have the coverage live from Camden Yards on Wednesday and Thursday, starting with the first pitch at 7. On your home for the Rays, AM 1300 WMEL.
WMEL.